Good evening, everybody. I'm Meteorologist Ted Schmidt, and yes, I'm working on a Saturday night, and yes, here we are with your forecast talking about some changes ahead of us. We had such a breezy but relatively balmy day, a quiet Saturday. A lot of people hanging up their holiday decorations today. You can see why. Here's beautiful sunset imagery, or time lapse from our Quality Group camera from Assisi Heights, and boy, it turned out to be a really nice day. Nice mid-November day. Temperature right where you'd expect it to be for this time of the year, and for the first time in what seems to be a really long time, we've been able to, so far, to put together a really decent weekend. 41, the high temperature this afternoon. That actually is spot on. That's exactly the seasonal average. The first time we've done that, I think, since the very beginning of this month. 29 was the morning low, and no precipitation today, but that may change tonight. We're looking at some rain on its way for the overnight hours, in fact starting as soon as around midnight and lasting through the overnight hours, most of it during tonight. Some of it may move in or hang around into the morning hours on Sunday, but most of it will be moving out by mid-morning on Sunday, and so for the majority of the day actually looks pretty good tomorrow. We're talking about the possibility of maybe a drier afternoon, but upper 30s instead of low 40s. So slight change there. There was a storm system on its way that will bring that, but rain and snow both possible for tonight. We'll start with our studio. Here's a look to the south with our Quality Group camera from Signal Hill, northwest Rochester. We had some sun until, you saw the imagery there, right until sunset. Last few hours have seen the clouds take over, and we're going to see gray skies and eventually maybe a little bit of rain here. But temperatures have fallen quickly and now have leveled off. We've been, I think, 33 for the last 2 or 3 hours in Rochester, 33 right now. It's 37 in Austin. Here it is just about 9:30 on Saturday evening, 36 degrees in Charles City, 31 in Rushford. Right now in Rochester, some stars being reported at the airport. Probably not too many, but clouds slowly increasing, and they will take over shortly if they haven't already, officially anyway. 22 the current wind chill. Air pressure steady, 30.09 inches of mercury. Factoring those winds, they certainly have been an issue today. 41 degrees was the high. We never at any point felt like 41 degrees. I think the wind chill for the most part was upper 20s, low 30s. We had gusts around 31 miles per hour in the middle of the afternoon. And even this evening, we have winds around 20 miles per hour. That feels like temperature there in the 20s instead of the 30s. But the plan is for tonight, temperature is actually steady around 33, 34 degrees pretty much the whole time until right around sunrise. Looks like we're going to dip down right around the freezing mark, and temperatures aloft will cool as well. So rain transitions to a mixture of rain and snow after about 2 or 3 o'clock, and then all snow for many of us, just for a couple of hours, 7 until maybe 9, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and then may leave a coating behind on surfaces. And so if you have church plans, if you're heading out to brunch, doing something in the morning Sunday, it may be a little slick first thing, basically between about 5 and 10 o'clock in the morning. I think that's what we're looking at, the primary window for something to accumulate, see a little slick with, potentially rain freezing on the surface. Not necessarily freezing rain, but we may see a little bit of that. But some of that flash freezing, some of that rain that falls, and then we see the puddles on the ground, and the temperature by around mid-morning drops briefly below freezing. We may have a little bit of that, or some of the snow and slush, things like that, around for the overnight hours. So maybe a little slippery with all that in mind. But rain comes in. I think most of what we see will be in the form of rain. Maybe a couple of hours of snow, just enough to yield this minor coating on the surfaces. But there goes that cold front moving eastward. We have a high pressure area behind that. May scour out the clouds for a time Sunday night into Monday morning before the next storm system comes in Monday night. And there you see it on our headlines. Seasonable temperatures all week. So what that means for us, upper 30s, low 40s, pretty common this time of the year, and that's basically what we're expecting pretty much each day. If you've liked yesterday and today's weather, Friday and Saturday, I think you'll be pretty happy with what we have for most of the next week. And even when we cool off a little bit, it looks like we'll have above freezing high temperatures every day for the next 7 to 10 days. That sounds pretty good. I mean, consider what we had earlier this week. 33, the temperature right now in Rochester, much warmer southward. Des Moines, 43. It's 45 in Dodge City. International Falls. Well, that's the place to be, balmy at 40. Here's Futurecast watching that storm system move through. There's some rain, and you see a transition, a little bit of that pink, the purple, a little bit of blue here and there. That would be just before sunrise, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. That then moves through that whole cold front. Winds turn to the northwest by late morning, and certainly for the afternoon. Kind of a cool breeze, not a really strong one, not like today's wind. We had gusts 25, 30 miles per hour. Tomorrow's winds 15, 16 miles per hour. So a chilly breeze, but not not blustery necessarily, not raw winds, just a little chilly. Temperatures in upper 30s. And then tomorrow night there's that partial clearing, big gaps developing in the clouds. We'll have those around for the first part of Monday. The clouds thicken, and here comes that rain in the late afternoon, and by Monday night we may even see a little snow mixing in behind that system, a break for a couple of days before a system on Thursday brings another rain-snow mixture. But none of those systems beyond us in the next week or so look like big snow producers. Tomorrow, you're looking at 4 different models these are varying lengths of time spans. Some of these go out more than 2 or 3 days, but they're all looking at the short-term aspect of the system. And none of them really think of this as a big snow producer. The North American one, the NAM, I think that seems a little high once again, as was the case in its last forecast for our last snow event when we had, I believe, 0.8 of an inch at the airport. We ended up, I think the forecast for the NAM, and that one is a couple of inches. So it's overshooting some of these systems. This one may be a little high as well. I think less than half an inch, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's going to be a huge shovelable amount, but it may be impactful in that it may be slippery for a couple of hours first thing Sunday. So tonight, mixture then snow, breezy and cool, 32 south winds, 10 to 20 miles per hour. We'll see those winds turn to the west and northwest. That'll be late in the morning after the snow comes to an end. The snow mostly done by 9, maybe 10 at the latest, half inch or less. 38 the high tomorrow. Not a terrible day. Monday, there's maybe a little sun at first, but then you see that rain-snow mixture after about 4 or 5 o'clock, just before sunset. But at this point, it does not look like much more than a trace of snow. Same situation on Thursday, rain and snow, temperatures overnight into the morning, maybe just cool enough for a little bit of minor accumulation, but mostly rain out of that. And temperatures for next weekend do look like they're going to be mid and upper 30s and sunny, though, but not as many 40s, maybe in about 7 days' time, another week from now. But we can deal with something above freezing, not the 40s, but 30s. We could be okay with that. It looks like, for the most part, typical weather for mid and then eventually late November. Nothing obnoxiously cold, no Arctic air on the horizon, and no major snow producers in the weather picture. Just cold November rain and maybe a little bit of snow mixing in here and there, but all of that very typical for late fall weather. At least now we're talking late fall weather instead of middle of winter weather that we had earlier this week. Still talking about that, I know, but it was a harsh slap of reality. But it's good to be back to what we consider more typical late fall weather. In the meantime, have a great night, have a great Sunday, and I'll see you right back here on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody.